Alright, so my last video, we went over the oiling mods as a theory and kind of why we do what we do. And this is going to be a demonstration on what to do, at least what I think is the right thing to do. So that's that. You can trust me because I'm wearing overalls. That should be, that's all the proof you need to know that I know what I'm doing, alright? First things first, I'm going to lay out all the tools and show you exactly what you need, go over that, and we'll go from there. Alright, so here's the general overview of the tools you need. Obviously, you're going to need a drill for these. You're going to want a corded one, a cordless, you're going to be pushing it. I mean, it's a 12-inch 5/8, that's going to be our biggest. Well, that's going to put the most load on the drill bit, or the drill itself. So this is 12 inches long. This is also 5/8 drill bit. This is just shorter. It's a little easier to manage. You can just buy the long one if you want, but it has to be at least 12 inches long. And you're going to come from each end. This is the 45th 64. This is for your 1/2-inch NPT. That can be any length you want it. It'd be a stubby, normal length, whatever. 1/2-inch NPT tap. And then this, excuse me, this is a 37 64. That's going to be for a 3/8 NPT tap. You're going to need obviously some pipe plugs. And then for our actual oil feed lines going to our mains, for 2, 3, and 4, you're going to want a 5/16. And then for 1 and the oiling to the heads, if you want to do that, that's going to be a 9/32. And then these need to be 9 inches long. So that needs to be 9 inches. And then this is our tubing that goes in the main feed. This is 5/8 by 1/2-inch ID. You need at least 20 inches. You're going to cut it in half, do 10 inches side to side. So that's our general overview. And you're going to want lots of oil because if you're doing this, you're going to need oil to drill all this stuff out. Alright, so we got our 1/2-inch drill and we have our 5/8 drill bit in there. So I already drilled the front side, so I mean, you go, that's around 10 inches, so that's that. And I forgot to mention, for the 5/8 drill bit, you're going to want a 1/2-inch shank, so remember that when you're ordering it. This one was a 5/8 shank, so I had it turned down by a local machinist. So, I mean, you can do that if you have a lathe, you can order it. It's a little bit cheaper if you get the 5/8 shank versus the 1/2-inch. So that one over there was a 1/2-inch shank. I have two. They're high-speed steel drill bit. So, I think I got it off drillsandcutters.com, but you can just Google it. It's pretty easy. So, once you get that front drilled, you want to make sure you go past your 4th lifter. So, you need to come past it. That's really as far as you need to go. And then you'll butt your tubes up against each other, or you can leave a little shoulder to come to, so that way it's a little bit tighter of a fit. So there's less leakage in between, and then it gets above your tube and comes out your lifter bore still. So that's something to kind of think about. And then, once you do that, you get to hit it from the back. Everyone likes to hit it from the back, so pull it out. And then we come to our oil galley plug on the back. A little bit of mess. I already started doing that, but and then we'll drill that the rest of the way up to our halfway point again. So that's what we'll do, and I'll go from there. Okay, so we have our main galleys drilled out. You're going to be there a while. It takes a while. Just be patient. Don't heat up your drill bit. I actually had to break out the other drill bit because I got a little impatient, got a little hot, started rounding the edges off. So I had to use my other one. So now, we got to cap this end off, so we got to put a pipe plug in. So now I have my 45 64 in it. So you go in that same one. So your passenger side, and then so you go up to where it comes up from the main, or from the oil pump. Show that. So you can see in there. So this tube right here comes up, and just go to that. That should be fine. And then you're going to tap this hole on the end to put a pipe plug in. So we'll do that. And then once you get that tapped, we'll clean all that out. This is just a 12 gauge. Every adult man, American, probably has one of these cleaning kits. I don't have an engine brush kit because this is a lot cheaper and I have it. So this is 12 gauge, just run it in there, clean it out, brake clean, clean it out, brake clean, clean the lifter bores, go back to the galley, brake clean, clean it out, on as clean as possible, just so nothing's running through. And then after all that, you just want to do that first because we're going to put the tube in and then that's going to hold some things. Then after that, we'll hose everything out and then WD-40 it. But now we go to our 1/2 inch pipe plug and we'll tap that. Okay, so we got our 1/2 inch pipe plug in there and then our copper tubing is pounded in there. You see how you want to go past that hole? That's going to be your oiling hole coming right from the pump. So you want to make sure it clears that, obviously. I mean, you could leave it in there if you wanted to and drill it back out. I don't know why you'd want to do that because you got to drill from the top for your oil pressure sensor. So it's easier just to drive it past that, and then that saves you a lot of time there. So yeah, that's that. And then I had to notch my engine stand out so I can fit the drill in there to do it. Forgot to mention that. So when you're doing this, you could just move it over there, but for some reason at the time, I thought this was the better method. All right, now we come to the top and you can see in the lifter bores how it comes into the lifter bore. So the OD of the tube comes in. You see there, that's crushed down. And how you do that is you take a lifter and you grind it and then you kind of pound it through. So you want to smooth it up as possible. You can't really tell, but you round all the sharp edges so it doesn't cut into it. It doesn't look pretty by any means, and if you have a solid tappet, it's a lot easier. This is hydraulic, so it kind of absorbs the shock when you do it. It's not hard to push through. It's just a little bit of a pain because it bounces your punch off. But so then you come back through and you do all that, and then I'm going to hone my lifter bores after, just so they hold oil a little better, because I'm relying exclusively on drain back now to oil my lifters. So we're going to do that after I pound all these through, but you just want to make sure your flat touches it. Make sure you clean all this out too. All your drill marks or your drill cuttings and stuff, it's going to sit up in your lifter bores. You don't want to scratch your lifter bores. A lot of people just think you can throw your lifters in and you don't worry about that. It's definitely something to worry about. You should always hone it, make sure your lifters move freely, there's good clearance in it. It's just something to think about when you're putting these together. Okay, so I got all my lifters peened, the tube anyways in the lifter, and then so this is going to be a 3/8 pipe plug, and then this is our 1/2 inch pipe plug. So we use the bigger drill bit to drill that out, tap it, and your number 1 feed is right there, so you can't go past that. So you need to be wary of that. So just, you know, think about it when you're doing it. You don't have to go that far, and then don't bring the tap in a ton, and then just have a little bit of threads, maybe 1/4 inch of threads, and do that. And then for this one, you need to cover the number 1 feed. So it's the opposite. So you got to think about it. On your driver's side, it needs to be covered because you're blocking it off. You don't want this to have oil in it. This one, this is how your number 1 gets fed, and this one is how it feeds this side. So if that makes sense. So you're blocking this one off, you're making sure this one gets it. So I'm good there. I'm probably gonna have to clearance the cam plate a little bit to fit this. I don't know where it is, so I can't show you guys. But here's a random one that I found. So you can see they cover the whole thing. So you're gonna have to cut this all out to fit that pipe plug because it's gonna protrude a little bit unless you can find a really shallow one. I'm not really worried about the strength of it. I don't think it's a big deal. Could be, I don't know. Doesn't seem like it to be. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut that off and go with that because the pipe plugs I have they're fairly long. They're probably about 1/2 inch long. I might order some different ones, who knows. But now we're gonna clean all that out and then we're gonna press our tube in on this side. Right, next, we go to our mains and we drill each one of these. So 2, 3, and 4, they're gonna be 5/16. And then number 1, the tube doesn't go through it, but you should just make sure that it's the 9/32. Run it through, and then number 5 is huge compared to the rest. So you don't have to worry about number 5. Number 1, just double check, go through it. The tube doesn't need to go through there, and so on. So that's pretty much it. Once you get your pipe plugs in, clean everything up, and that's your basic oiling mods. Biggest thing is just drilling through the mains. It takes a long time. The rest of it's pretty easy. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. All right, so going back over everything, my pipe plug here, this is gonna be my passenger side. You can see that's where the drill bit came through. I marked that to make sure to know how far it goes. So it's gonna be the same on the top side. So and I made sure that my pipe plug's going in far enough. That's why there's paint all over it, because I marked the pipe plug, then measured it. It is kind of hard to figure out because pipe plugs are press fit, so you only go so much, but sometimes you gotta go quite a bit farther than you want to do that. And so there's a couple different methods to do this. If I was to do it again, I would not tap this. So right here from the factory, there's a little oil galley plug. It looks like a mini freeze plug. So it looks like this, but a lot smaller to fit in there, the factory size hole. So you can take 2 of those and you can drive them in there. And then it'll cover up that feed passage, and then the other one kind of stops it, or make sure it's covered, if you know what I mean. So you put 2 in there just for the extra length, so that way you can't push forward also. So that helps push it on the cam plate and then go farther in. So if you do that, then you don't have to tap it and mess with taps and pipe plugs and keep it straight. It's a pain. As you can tell, didn't come out so good for me. And now it's a 1/2 inch because the 5/8 did work. And you can also come in here with a 1/16 NPT pipe plug. It'll work. You can run the tap right in there. You don't even got to drill it out. As far as this block, like I said, all these blocks over the years, things change how they drill them and stuff like that. So I tapped this also for a 16th pipe plug. So I got a 16th pipe plug in there, and I'm gonna have my 1/2 inch pipe plug in there, kind of hopefully help everything out. And plus, even if any oil gets past there, it's still gonna be the same as that, but that should slow oil down. Even if you don't have a complete seal or anything like that, it's still gonna help a ton because you're slowing it way down, just putting a plug in there. You gotta think, even if it leaks past there, if it's not a super tight fit. So just some food for thought. And then you can drill out your cab bearings and stuff like that. So it'd be your 9/32, your smaller one. So you'd go in the center holes to do all that. I didn't do that. I didn't feel a need to do that. They look fine to me. And then same thing with the cylinder heads, the oiling to them. You can open that up, but like I said, I don't have any galling or anything like that. Okay, this is to address Brad Lawrence's comment. He does a lot of Mopar engines. He's in all the Mopar groups that I'm in. And he said to demonstrate how you drill this out to 1/2 inch. So I actually didn't have to drill this out. This was already over 1/2 inch. But you'd have to mount this in a vise and drill it. And so it comes in at an angle, I don't know, probably around 45, and then this one's 90. So it comes up and then they meet each other. So where I did that, I went in there with a ball burr and kind of cleaned it all up, just where that mating is, the contour of that. But I didn't have to drill this out. Like I said, you may have to. All these blocks are different. They made them for a lot of years, and a lot of things change over the years. You know, all the tooling changed. They might have thrown something in here one day or something like that, you know. I don't have the answer for you on that, but they are different. So you have to measure all this stuff and check things out. Some blocks, you're not going to get away with just doing this. You're going to have to drill stuff out. Also, when I posted about doing this, people are telling me to drill that out, to spray more oil on there. Then you got to have oil back in it. I don't think that's a good idea. I wouldn't recommend doing that. And if you go on the comments in my last video, someone said, if you don't open up your suction side of your oil pump, that none of this matters. That guy's definitely wrong. It's just like a hose. Once you fill, like if you have a hose, like a garden hose, and it leaks out the side, and then you fix all those holes, there's gonna be more water at the end of the hose. So it doesn't matter, you're not changing the pressure on the backside or the volume going in on the backside of the hose, you're just fixing the leaks. So this is going to work. It's gonna help out oiling a ton. I mean, you're fixing all those leaks. You're fixing 16 oil leaks, 16. And you're telling me that the mains aren't going to get more oil if I don't increase the volume of oil coming in? It's already a high volume oil pump, first of all. So 16 leaks you're fixing. That's a pretty good amount of leaks fixed. So this is your oiling hole. You can see right there. So the boss is coming off the feet. That's where your heads. That's where you drill those out. But if you have any questions, let me know. I can make another video, clear it up. I don't know if I'm gonna do a video on assembly and stuff. I still gotta clean all this up, pull my oil filter adapter. I pulled all the other plugs out, so everything's gonna get cleaned out. And yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. Build the Mopar community up the best we can. If you have any questions, anything you think's better, comment it. Think about it for your comment though, because if it's wrong, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. Like that other guy with the saying that I need to fix the suction side, but yeah.